So after Pereira destroyed Ankalaev in the rematch, there's this talk going around about how Alex Pereira would fare in the heavyweight landscape. Would he be successful? Would he fall flat? Because you think of some heavyweights, they're really not special. They're just fat fucks. Like Chris Barnett, Hamdi Abdul Wahab, Muhammad Usman. You think of like the worst of the worst heavyweights that exist, that should be fighting multiple weight classes below them. Chris Barnett should be fighting at welterweight, you know? Abdul Wahab should be fighting at middleweight. I could keep going on. But because Pereira is such a big name, if he moves up to heavyweight, that means he's going to get the title shot. It's not going to be like when he moved up to light heavyweight after he got knocked out by Adesanya and he had a contender fight with Jan Blachowicz. It's not going to be like that. He's not going to have a regular contender fight just to feel it out. No, he's going to get a title shot. So that is what this video is about. How would Alex Pereira fare in the heavyweight division? Would he be successful? Or would he fall flat? Starting with Tom Aspinall. Because here's the thing. If Pereira moves up to heavyweight, he's immediately getting a title shot, is he not? It's not going to be like when he moved up to light heavyweight after he got knocked out by Adesanya and he had a fight with Jan Blachowicz that was not for any belt. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening at all. If he's going to fight, it's going to be for a title, which means it's either going to be Aspinall or Ciryl Gane. If he fights Aspinall, he gets destroyed. He gets annihilated. I know I picked Ankalaev for the rematch, but in this specific case, bro, I don't want people to write in my comments saying like, oh no, you don't know what you're talking about. Pereira sleeps him. And look, it's heavyweight, there's a puncher's chance. Aspinall has been hit before. He got hit by Pavlovich with a left hook, I think. He also got hit by an inside left hook from Curtis Blades in the second fight. So he gets caught. He's fast, but he gets caught. Can Pereira catch him with his own left hook? Of course. But he's not going to be in the pocket. He's just going to go for the takedown. Immediately. As soon as the bell rings, he charges and goes for a spear. That's what's going to happen. Another thing you have to take into consideration is Pereira, he cuts down to 205 and he comes in on fight night at like 235, almost close to 240. Would he also be the same weight at heavyweight because he doesn't have to worry about a weight cut? Will he just show up at 240 or is he going to bulk up and fatten up to like max out at 265 or even beyond that? Like, would he fat himself so much that he actually cuts down to 265 like Derek Lewis? I think that would be a mistake. He should probably fight at like 250, 255. Very bulky, very powerful, but not completely useless and slow, where you're going to completely gas yourself out like a guy like Lewis or some of these other obese, my 600-pound life patients. Tom Aspinall takes him down and puts him in any type of submission that he wants. You have to remember, Pereira's frame is skinny. He has the skinny frame. Tom Aspinall doesn't have a skinny frame. Tom Aspinall's frame, his skeletal muscle mass, all that shit is better than Pereira's. It just is. The strength is not going to be in Pereira's favor. Oh, but maybe he can head kick him. I'm not counting on that, man. I'm not. 99% chance Tom Aspinall beats him. What's the next fight? It's Ciryl Gane. This would be the best fight to make at heavyweight, bar none. Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane. If Ciryl Gane beats Tom Aspinall, which there's only one way for him to beat Tom Aspinall, and that's a video that I will make closer to when that fight happens. Similar to my Corey Sandhagen video, the only way for Corey Sandhagen to beat Merab was the flying knee. He didn't do it. The only way for Ciryl Gane to beat Tom Aspinall, a big, giant head kick Similar to Leon Edwards, Usman too. That's the only way for him to win. If he can win, I think Alex Pereira does move up to heavyweight and challenge Cyril Gane, because Tom Aspinall, he's not going to get an immediate title shot rematch against Cyril Gane. He's not. I know the situation with the Demon, he who shall not be named on this channel, I know that situation wasn't Tom's fault, but still, he hasn't had any real legitimate title defenses. The Curtis Blades one doesn't count. That's an interim belt. That doesn't count. Cyril Gane, fast on his feet. He likes to bounce up and down, very fast kicks, body kicks, leg kicks, head kicks, piston jab. But he has bad distance management. But he doesn't have to worry about that so much, because this is going to be a striker versus striker matchup. Both guys are like the same height. They'll be the same size. I know Cyril Gane says he's 6'4". I think they're both like 6'4 and a half, around there. Pereira's listed as 6'4", but I think Pereira's a legit like 6'4 and a half to 6'5". Pereira is massive because he was taller than Izzy, and Izzy's 6'4". So there's not going to be worries about Pereira being small in the sense of height or muscle mass. It's just that there are some guys that are really big, maxing out at 265. Cyril Gane, he doesn't max out at 265. I'm pretty sure he maxes out like at 250, 255, somewhere around there. Can Pereira land a big left hook? It'll be hard, because Cyril Gane does move a lot. He paces back and forth with his stance. He throws a lot of teeps to the body. Don't think that's going to matter all too much. That mostly mattered for some of the fat boys like Spivak and Tai Tuivasa, which those teeps to the body really do hurt. This is a very winnable fight for Pereira. This is. I could see Pereira winning against Cyril Gane. Now, I also could see Cyril Gane winning against Pereira, but that's what makes it a 50-50 matchup, in my opinion. I don't want Cyril Gane to beat Tom Aspinall, but if he does, book this fight immediately. Do it. And I don't know if this fight would be appropriate for a main event in the White House card, because they're not Americans, and I don't know if being American is a criteria to be on that main event. But hey, you have the first time that you could possibly get a triple division champ in the UFC. And if Pereira is the first guy to do it, put him on the main event for that card. Do it. It would make sense. And if he does become the triple champ, I don't care about all of these other things. He is the GOAT. He is the GOAT of the sport forever. Better than all these other guys, because nobody will ever become triple champ again. Well, maybe not never, but dude, this sport's been around for like 25, 30 years now, the UFC. Do you think we're ever going to get a triple champ ever again in like the next 10, 15, 20 years? Probably not. It's very, very hard to be a triple champ. So do that fight if Aspinall fucks it up. I don't think he will, but do it just in case. Who's next? Who's number 3? Volkov. Could Alex Pereira beat an Alexander Volkov? It would be Pereira's biggest opponent yet. Tallest, longest. Pereira, for the first time in his career, would be the smaller guy, which is very rare because Pereira's always been the bigger guy. But against Volkov, who's like 6'7", 6'8", those long-ass giraffe legs that can pick so many people apart, that long piston-like jab with that 83-inch arm reach that Volkov has. Volkov has had so much success at heavyweight. He's beat up so many guys, but he's always come up short. With Derek Lewis, with the Cyril Gane, I mean, the first fight he lost, but the second fight, that was a robbery. I want him to beat Jailton Almeida. I think he will beat Jailton Almeida. And so this fight could happen because he'll be next for a title shot. And you never know with heavyweights. This fight could happen. If it does, I see Volkov beating Pereira. I do. Volkov's getting up there in age, but he's still younger than Pereira. He's like 36, 37. Pereira's 38. So the age isn't going to matter all that much. Taller guys usually have to retire sooner because the cartilage in their knees. Tall people have knee problems, pretty much. If you know, you know. They have knee problems. So I don't want to see Volkov retire anytime soon, but he will eventually. I think Pereira gets picked apart, especially if Pereira comes in at a heavier weight where he's slower. Volkov, he's picked apart so many guys. Rosenstrike, Romanov. And it'll be striker versus striker, but those long-ass legs, like all of the advantages that Pereira has had against all of his opponents at middleweight, at light heavyweight, all of those advantages will be negated. The height, the reach, the leg reach, everything will be out of the window. Pereira would also have to be punching up for his left hook, so he would have to be going for overhands, which are going to leave him open and exposed, because Volkov is a guy that punishes you for making mistakes. He will throw knees to the midsection. He will throw front kicks. Like, I don't see Pereira beating a guy like Volkov. I don't. And keep in mind, Volkov, he does have a little bit of grappling. He does. Like with Tai Tuivasa, when Tai Tuivasa was on the ground, he went after it, put him in the Ezekiel choke. He's not afraid of grappling. You know, he's Russian, so he's trained a lot of grappling, all those weird submissions with, who was the guy that invented Ezekiel choke? Alexei Olenek, that's the guy. You know, they train that shit over there. So I could see Volkov taking it to the ground, right? He's not afraid to go in the clinch. Very, very dangerous fight for Alex Pereira. I don't see Alex Pereira beating Volkov. I just don't. Maybe you can change my mind, but I don't. Who's next? Oh, Pavlovich. Pavlovich is tricky because the Pavlovich that we have now is a shy and timid Pavlovich. After being knocked out by Aspinall, after being picked apart by Volkov, another guy that Volkov picked apart. I forgot about that fight because not much happened, but Volkov left Pavlovich a complete bloody mess. And he's like the same size and height as Pereira, so he looks so small in there with Volkov. Like, I could just see something similar where Volkov just picks apart Pereira. But this is about Pavlovich. I think if we do see a shy Pavlovich against Pereira, Pereira beats him. Alex Pereira can beat up a Pavlovich, but I'm not going to count Pavlovich out because he does have those 84-inch arm reach orangutan arms. The same arm reach against the heretic that shall not be named on this channel. So I don't know. Pavlovich, when he was on his run, knocking out all those people, he was so deadly. He had this weird shovel lead uppercut. He knocked out Shamil Abdurrahimov with it. He knocked out Curtis Blades with it, or it led to the knockout with Curtis Blades. Maurice Green, all these guys that he beat up with it. I could see that being an effective tool against Pereira. It's just that he hasn't used it all that much. And he does have a background in combat sambo, and we haven't really seen that either. Could he actually use grappling against Pereira? Probably not. It's going to be a striker versus striker matchup. Like, it would be scary for Pereira, but I do see Pereira knocking out a guy like Pavlovich. I could see that happening, especially the shy version of Pavlovich. Was it a left hook that Tom Aspinall did against Pavlovich? It landed on the temple, but I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was the left hook. It landed on his temple and just slept him. If Pereira lands that left hook on his temple, it's knocking anybody out. So I'll give this one to Pereira, but it's heavyweight. Anybody has a puncher's chance. Who's next? Curtis Blades. Pereira beats Curtis Blades. Now you might be asking, well, Curtis Blades is a wrestler. Doesn't Curtis Blades just charge in for a double leg and take Pereira down? Yeah, but when's the last time we actually saw that? We didn't see it with Kuniev. We didn't see it with Pavlovich. We didn't see it with Almeida. He hasn't used his wrestling. He's been a striker for as long as I remember. He used his wrestling against the Volkov fight. That was it. He didn't use wrestling against when he knocked out Chris Dawkins. Didn't really try to use it all that much against the Derek Lewis fights or the Francis Ngannou fights. And if he did, those takedowns got stuffed very fast, very easily. Another thing is that Curtis Blades, all of his losses in the UFC have been to very dangerous strikers. Very big, powerful punchers. Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou, Sergey Pavlovich. Pereira is a dangerous, powerful puncher. A 250, 255 bulked up Pereira that doesn't have to worry about a weight cut. That is a dangerous man. And Curtis Blades' chin is completely gone at this point. He got pieced up by Rizvan Kuniev. Even though he won that fight, that third round, his face was all bloodied. A fat, obese Kuniev. Like, I'm giving this one to Pereira. I am. Pereira knocks out Curtis Blades in brutal fashion. We move on to the last guy, Jailton Almeida. This is the top 5, including Tom as the champion. The other heavyweights will do a quick rundown, but Pereira beats a lot of the other heavyweights. Jailton Almeida, he shoots immediately. I mean, I hope this fight never happens. I hope Jailton Almeida stays far away from the belt. I hope he never gets a title shot. And thankfully, Volkov is his opponent to safeguard that reality from ever coming true. But Jailton Almeida does beat Alex Pereira, and he beats him very easily. There's not much to say. You know what would happen. Immediate double leg, eventually gets taken down and submitted. Okay? That's what would happen. There is a reality where I could see Pereira being so aggressive and Almeida just tenses up and gets scared like Ankalaev, but I'm not counting on that. I give this one to Almeida. I'm not a big Almeida fan. Not hyped for him. I hope he loses to Volkov. I think he will. Volkov's a tough guy to beat and to take down. I mean, look at Romanov. Romanov had a very tough time trying to take down Volkov, and he couldn't. I know Romanov is a fat, unathletic, pudgy marshmallow. Almeida has very low body fat, much more athletic, so he should have, in theory, a tougher time. An easier time. He should, in theory, have an easier time taking down Volkov, but remember, this is a former light heavyweight. He's like 6'3". He doesn't have a true heavyweight frame. Volkov does. And that's why I'm excited for that fight. I want to see Volkov stuff that takedown and knock Almeida out cold. So, yeah. So now that we're here, let's just run down the list. In my opinion, Alex Pereira, the entire heavyweight division, Pereira loses to Tom Aspinall. Pereira beats Cyril Gane. Because remember, Cyril Gane doesn't have power in his hands. How many shots did it take to put down Sergey Spivak? He's a flurry puncher. He throws so many punches to the body, up top. Pereira doesn't need to do that. You think Pereira would have trouble trying to finish Sergey Spivak? No, he wouldn't. Okay? So Pereira beats Cyril Gane. Pereira loses to Volkov because it's his biggest and tallest opponent. All of the advantages that Pereira has been privileged to be blessed by against all of his other opponents go out of the window. He would be the smaller man, the inferior man in every situation. Height, reach, leg reach, everything. Even age. Pavlovich. Alex Pereira could beat Pavlovich. Could. I give that fight 50-50 though. Still not 100% sure. Pereira starches out Curtis Blades. I don't care about the takedown situation there. He knocks out Curtis Blades. He loses to Almeida because he gets taken down, put in full mount, and either ground and pounded, or Pereira gives his back and gets put in a rear naked choke, the same situation that Rosenstrike got submitted by Almeida and all these other guys did. Now, let's talk about these other guys that I didn't talk about. Waldo Cortez Acosta. Pereira could easily beat a guy like Waldo Cortez Acosta. Spivak is a grappler, but I think Pereira can knock out Spivak. As long as he's aggressive in that fight and fights his own fight. Spivak got knocked out by Almeida, and he got like brushed with one of these punches. Spivak doesn't have a chin. He's very weak. You just have to make sure that you're the aggressor. Push forward just like he did against Ankalaev, and Pereira can knock out a guy like Spivak. Derek Lewis, that's a 50-50 fight. Pereira could knock out Lewis, but Lewis could also knock out Pereira. I'm not betting against Derek Lewis. Never. Ante Delija, we still haven't seen much from him. Just because you knock out an obese, old Marcin Tybura doesn't mean you're that good. We have to see more for Ante Delija. As of now, I'm going to say that Pereira beats Ante Delija. Marcin Tybura, yes, Alex Pereira could beat Marcin Tybura. I don't care about the grappling threat. This version of Marcin Tybura is so weak and fat and old. If Delija can knock you out like that, Pereira could. Tai Tuivasa doesn't even deserve to be on this list, but yeah, Pereira could easily beat Tai Tuivasa. Shamil Gaziev. No. Nobody can beat Shamil Gaziev. Nobody can beat him. And who's he fighting? Shamil Gaziev's fighting somebody. Oh, it's Spivak. Can't wait for that one. I made Shamil Gaziev my profile picture for a reason. Shamil Gaziev eats Poatan. Destroys him. And then from here on out, Mick Parkin. Pereira destroys Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin, he should be fighting at light heavyweight. He's too fat. Taliesin Teixeira, tricky. Because Taliesin Teixeira is also a big guy, but Pereira beats him up. Remember, Taliesin Teixeira, in his Dana White Contender Series fight, he got hit a lot by Arthur Lopez. If you get hit in similar fashion by Poatan, you're going to go to sleep. One little hook from Derek Lewis, which wasn't even a big flush hook, puts you down. You're going to sleep from Pereira. Walter Walker. Walter Walker's dangerous. Could Walter Walker put Pereira in a heel hook? Yeah, he could. He could put anybody in a heel hook. I'm not going to count on it, though. I say Pereira beats Walter Walker, and that's it. There are some guys that Pereira beats and destroys, and there's some guys that he doesn't. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I'm kind of excited for Pereira at heavyweight, but I just don't want Pereira to waste his time trying to fight Aspinall, because that's a fight that he will lose. It just is. Cyril Gane, on the other hand, that's a much more exciting fight. Striker versus striker. I kind of want Cyril Gane to win now, but he's not. That's all I got for this video. Pereira at heavyweight. Peace out. Subscribe to my channel, motherfuckers. I'll take all the subscribers that I can get. See you next time.